Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel AWS DevOps Niche Level. So this video is a part 2 video on how to integrate SonarQube with Jenkins. So this is basically a continuation video for the part 1. So if at all you have not watched the part 1 video, you can click on the link above and this would be a continuation to that. And as part of this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Jenkins, how to install the needed plugins in Jenkins, and then integrate Jenkins with SonarQube. So in our last video, we have set up the SonarQube Community Edition version 8.9.2, and we also have generated a token for authentication so that the Jenkins would be using the token to authenticate with SonarQube. That's the point that we stopped in our last video. And this video, we are going to set up Jenkins. And as part of the Jenkins setup, you can see these are all the instructions that we will do. So we will launch a t2.micro EC2 instance, and we will be installing the Open JDK 11, which is a prerequisite for Jenkins. Then we will set up Jenkins. Then we will also install maven and Git on the Jenkins server. Then we will install these plugins, maven invoker, maven integration, GitHub, and we will also install the plugin name SonarQube Scanner. Then we will add SonarQube credentials and the URL details to Jenkins under configure system. Then in the global tool configuration, we are going to set up the Sonar Scanner version 4.6.2, which is basically a client for the SonarQube server, right? So in this case, the Sonar Scanner is a SonarQube client, which will be running on Jenkins. And finally, we are going to create a Jenkins SonarQube integration job in which we can integrate Jenkins with SonarQube. And the moment Jenkins pulls a project from GitHub, compiles a project, it is going to send the source code to SonarQube for the analysis, and we can access the reports, whatever SonarQube provides. So these are all the sequence of steps. Now let's go through the steps one by one. First is launching of the t2.micro EC2 instance. So that is already ready. I've already set up the Jenkins instance. So as a second step, we are going to log into this instance and install Open JDK 11. So let me log into this Jenkins instance. Upload the keys. Okay, so I will switch the user to root. So the first step before we install Jenkins is we have to install the Open JDK 11. I'm going to use this command, Amazon-Linux-extras install Java-Open JDK 11. That is the package name, which is already available in the Amazon Linux extras repository. Okay, let me say yes here. Okay, so Java 11 has been installed. We can check the version, Java minus version. You can see here it is running the Open JDK version 11.0.20, right? So our next step is, so let us go ahead and download the Jenkins package, which is available from this yum.repos.d, the Jenkins repository. So I'm going to use this command. So wget -o, I'm downloading the Jenkins repo. Okay, so it has downloaded the repo, and we also need to download the key for the authentication. So I'm going to use this command rpm -- import the Jenkins repository, which is having the key. Okay, so this is also done. Now the next step is, let us go ahead and install Jenkins. So I will use this command, yum install Jenkins -y. Okay, Jenkins installation has been complete. Now we will start the Jenkins service with this command, service Jenkins start. So the next step, while it is starting, the next step will be to set up the Jenkins to automatically start on the system boot up. So for that, we have to give this command, check config Jenkins on. Let me copy that and keep it ready. Okay, you can see here the service has been started. And if I give the command service Jenkins status, we can see that it is active and running. Fine. Now let us enable Jenkins, or rather, automatically start the service whenever the system boots. So I'm going to use this command, check config Jenkins on. Now you can see that it has created a symbolic link from this particular location to this Jenkins.service, which means it has enabled the service for auto startup whenever the system reboots. Okay, now let us go ahead and try to access the Jenkins. So let me copy this IP address. So I will open the port 8080. I think port 8080 is not yet open. So we'll have to just open that in the security group. So I'll go into the security group. I will edit the inbound rules. I will add an inbound rule and I will mention custom TCP port 8080 and open it from anywhere IPv4. Okay, now we will try to access Jenkins. Okay, now it is going to ask you for the administrator password. So we have to get the password from this particular file. So I will say cat and just mention this file. You can see that it has given an admin password, the initial admin password, copy it, and I will just say continue. And it is asking us to install some plugins, which we will be doing it a little later. So I'm going to close the screen for now. I will say start using Jenkins. Okay, so now Jenkins has been set up. Now what I want to do is I want to change my administrator password because we use that code, right? Better to have a permanent password. So let me just put the password as maybe admin123. Apply, save. Okay, so this error is expected because we have changed the password. Now I can freshly log into Jenkins. I'll give the username and password. Okay, so this step is done where we have launched a T2.micro EC2 instance. We have installed OpenJDK 11. Then we have also set up Jenkins. Now we need to install maven and Git on the Jenkins server. So how do we do that? First, let me go on and install Git. So I will just say yum install Git -y. Okay, so Git is installed. Now I will just verify it with the command Git. It is giving all the parameters on the command. So we are good with Git. Now we will have to install maven. For installing maven, I had to download it from the particular maven repository. So let me just go to that link. So in Google, I will just say download maven. Okay, so this is the link. Here, I'm going to go with Maven 3.8 version. Okay, that is kind of, the previous stable release, because 3.9 is having some compatibility issues with few of the tools. So I'm going to go with the 3.8 stable version. So here is a binary for the 3.8. So I'm going to say copy link address and I'm going to download it. I'll say wget this particular link. Fine. So now we have this maven downloaded. So I'm going to extract the packages tar minus xvzf, this particular package name. Okay. So maven files have been extracted. As a best practice, I'm going to remove this package, whatever we downloaded. Okay. So now we need to set a path for maven. I'm going to say, I'm going to go to the bash profile file of the root, pi.bash underscore profile. So I think this is not the file. We go to the home directory, cd tilde and vi dot bash underscore profile. Okay. So here I'm going to add some path, both a path for Java home as well as Maven. Okay, first I will say Java underscore home. So what will be the Java home path? So we need to get that. I'll open a duplicate session for the Jenkins server. And if I say find slash minus name Java, it is going to give me the home path. So you can see that this one, user lib jvm Java 11 open JDK, till before this bin directory, right? So that will be the home path for Java. I'm going to add that here, right? So next will be the path for Maven. So let me quickly take that path for Maven. Okay, I think I'll have to quickly grab the document for the Maven path. We try to do that. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so these are all the paths that we need to add for Maven. I'm going to copy this. Okay, so Java home is added. Maven m2 underscore home, that is OPT Apache Maven. It is not 3.8.3. Whatever we downloaded is 3.8.8. I'll make it as 3.8.8. Okay, and let me remove this path entry, and that is it. This is our updates to the bash profile file. Okay, so we added a Java path. So we added the path for Maven, that is m2 underscore home and m2. Then we consolidated the path here and we are doing the export of the path. So for the changes to take effect, I need to source this file, bash profile file. I will say source dot bash underscore profile. So if I say echo $path, you can see that path, whatever we have added. So just on the safe side, I will exit the session and relog in. And now we will try to see the version of Maven minus minus version. You can see here it is clearly showing the version 3.8.8. Okay, so now Git is also set up, Maven is also set up, right? So this step number 4 is also done. Okay, now we need to do the step number 5, which is installing the plugins. What are those plugins? Maven Invoker, Maven Integration, GitHub, and SonarQube Scanner. These are the plugins that we need to install. But before that, we have to do a configuration in Jenkins. Let me go back to my Jenkins screen. And we need to tell Jenkins what is the Java path and the maven path. Even Java is not required, but we need to mention the maven path. So we can mention it under tools. And here maven installation, add maven. I will say m2 underscore home. Okay, and here I will remove this install automatically. We will give the home path of maven m2 underscore home. So I will say echo dollar m2 underscore home. This is the old session. Yes, try this here. Echo dollar m2 underscore home. You can see here, this is our Apache maven version. So let me update it here. Apply. Save. Okay. So this is the initial global tool configuration that we have done in Jenkins. So now what we will do, we'll install the plugins. So manage Jenkins. Let me go to the plugins here. And I'll go to the available plugins. So the first plugin we will install is Maven Invoker. Okay, because we are integrating Maven and Git with Jenkins, we have to install all these plugins. So Maven Invoker, select it, click install. If Maven Invoker is done, next will be Maven Integration plugin. So I'll go back to the available plugins and I will search for Maven Integration. This is the one, Maven Integration 3.23. Click install. Let me see what is the next one. It is GitHub. We have GitHub and SonarQube Scanner plugin to be. Okay, done. This plugin is also installed. Now the next plugin is GitHub. I go back to the available plugins and I will search for GitHub. You can see here GitHub 1.37.3. This is a plugin. Go ahead and install it. And the last plugin will be the SonarQube Scanner. Plugin is also installed. Click available plugins, search for SonarQube Scanner. You can see it here. SonarQube Scanner 2.15. Just select it. Okay, great. So we are done with the step number 5 also. Installing the plugins. So all these are done now. Till step number 5, we are done with the activities. Now we will continue with step number 6. So in step 6, what you need to configure? Configure system, add SonarQube URL and credentials. So first of all, we need to add the credentials, the token that we created, which I have explained in my last video. So that token is still available in this notepad. This is the token that we generated in SonarQube for authentication. The Jenkins can use this token to authenticate with SonarQube, right? Now we need to configure this in Jenkins. So how do we do that? I go to Manage Jenkins and I also go to the credentials here and I will add a global credential. I will say add credentials. And what is this one? This is a secret text, right? So I will say the secret will be nothing but that key. The key what we generated in SonarQube, this is a secret key, which I'm going to add it here. And here token, I will say it's SonarQube underscore secret, something like that. Okay, just create it. So once the token has been created, maybe we can go to the Manage Jenkins and then we can go into the system. Now we can add SonarQube here. If I come down, you can see SonarQube servers, add SonarQube. So let me click that. And the name I will mention as SonarQube itself. And what is the server URL? So it is the SonarQube URL till that 9000. Okay, so I'm going to Copy this. Okay, till 9,000. And server authentication. See, this is nothing but your SonarQube authentication token, right? I'm going to select this SonarQube secret. So yeah, I think that is pretty much on the SonarQube side. So let me apply it and save the file. Okay, now we are done with the step 6 also. Adding the SonarQube URL along with the token, which is the credentials, right? So now as part of step 7, in global tool configuration, set up the Sonar Scanner 4.6.2. So let us do that. I go into the manage Jenkins, again global tool configuration. So here if I come down, you can see it is saying add the SonarQube Scanner. So here I am saying SonarQube Scanner. Okay, and let me select 4.6.2, considering the compatibility with the version of Jenkins that we installed, also the SonarQube version that we installed, which is the 8.9.2 community edition. Let me better go ahead with the SonarQube Scanner 4.6.2. So let me select 4.6.2. Here it is. And that's it. So we are done with all the configurations. Now we can directly build a job and we will see if the integration happens with SonarQube. Now let me create a job. So this job, I will name it as SonarQube-Jenkins integration job. Okay, and this is going to be a maven project because I have my code in the GitHub repository. I'm going to pull it, then compile it via maven, and then send the artifacts and the source code to the SonarQube. Typically, the source code will be sent to SonarQube. So I'm going to select this as a maven project. Click OK. Okay, so this job will clone project from GitHub. Okay, and compile it using maven. Send the source code SonarQube for the analysis. That is what this job is doing. And once the analysis is done, SonarQube reports can be accessed post the analysis. Okay, so that is what we are doing. Now for that, the source code management will be Git, and I need to put my Git's project repository where my project is placed in Git. So I'm going to extract that. I'll go to the github.com. Okay, yeah, so it is, session is already logged in. So we are good. So this is my project team, which I'm going to use, the Hello World one. This is a Java project typically. And so let me go ahead and copy this repository. This is my project repository, which I will add in the job. This is my repository URL, right? Okay, so this is done. And what are all the other steps? So create the SonarQube maven integration job. Under post build steps, execute SonarQube scanner. This is our next task, right? So we have added the project repository. Now under the post build steps, where is post build? Okay, before that in the maven goals options, I'm going to say clean and install it. Okay, clean the previous builds and do a fresh compile of the project. And yeah, here it is, the post build step. See here, under post build step, select execute SonarQube scanner. So I will say select, here it is, execute SonarQube scanner, right? And here in the analysis properties, we need to give certain values here, which will be mandatory for SonarQube. So we have to give a project name, we have to give the project version, and we have to need to give the source where your source code is present. So it will be nothing but in the Jenkins server, right? So where lib Jenkins workspace, and what is the job name? So I'm going to use the same job name, whatever is preferred here. This one. This is our actual job name, right? Copy this. Right click, copy. So here under workspace, this job name / web app / SRC. Okay. So this will be our configuration in the analysis properties section. Mention the project key, project version, and in the sonar.sources variable, you will have to give that complete path where your source code is present. So now let's see what other steps are there. Under the post build actions, select SonarQube analysis with Maven. So now, if I go to the post build actions, you can see here it is asking us to select SonarQube analysis with Maven. And that's it. I think we have to just build this project and we will see whether it is able to build it successfully and sending the results to the SonarQube. Let's try that. So I will save this configuration, save this job, and let us say build now. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it has started the run of the job. Let us keep tracking the console output. Okay, so I think currently it is downloading the dependent binaries for maven. Okay, great. It is also gave the message that analysis has been successful. This is yet to complete the job. Okay, perfect. So team, you can see here, this job execution is successful and the SonarQube analysis completed is also successful, right? And so where you can access the report, it is available in this particular link. Okay, so it's already given that link, the job. So we will try to navigate to this link and see the results, what SonarQube has provided for the project. So I will say maybe open this in a new tab. Let me see, where is that? We'll go back once. There will be a different link, I guess. Yeah, here it is. Sorry. You can browse the project here. So I click this one. Yeah, here you will get the results for your project. So you can see here, team, this is how the SonarQube report will look like. And typically, as I told you, this is a tool for the developers who can understand the reports better in terms of the various performance metrics about their code. You see, as part of this project, the number of bugs is reported as 0, so no problems there. There are no security vulnerabilities. It's very good. There are no security hotspots also. That's fine. But if you see here, it is saying there are 2 code smells. Okay. So code smells is nothing but some bad code, I would say, right? It is like some bad code which has an opportunity to be corrected. So SonarQube says that there are 2 code smells. And if at all the developer wants to see what are those bad code, so he can actually click that and he will get to the details here. You can see here for this particular Java file, greeter.java, it is saying that add a nested comment explaining why this method is empty. So basically, that is an empty method. That is what it is highlighting here, which is not in line with the best practices. Okay. Similarly, there is one to-do comment which is not yet completed, or rather a task that is associated with this to-do comment is not completed. So that's why, it has flagged these as the code smells, which is not a good code and has an opportunity to improve. Okay, but if you see overall, this is how it shows the reports in terms of the bugs, vulnerabilities, security hotspots, and you can see it has also run 2 unit tests in this project. We have run a couple of unit tests, so the details also you can get it here. Okay, and this is a snapshot that it has generated as part of the unit test. And also you can see that there are duplications on 273 lines. So that also it is showing that you have to review. And overall, the code structure, it is giving the total number of lines, right? So the number of XML is 264, Java is 8, and JSP is 1, right? And POM file, this POM.xml is having 183 lines. So all those details, it will be, available here in your SonarQube report page. And yeah, the main file will be this one. The main tool for the developers will be this overview tab, where he gets a summary of his project. So overall, it is a pass with respect to the, when it is compared with the quality criteria. But only thing is he has to look at the code smells and typically the coverage for the unit tests. Okay. So team, I hope this has given you some insights how to integrate SonarQube with Jenkins and how to, get a report analyzed by the SonarQube. And yeah, this report will be very useful for developers in order to get to know more about their code, its vulnerabilities, and its overall quality. I would say when we compare it with best practices, so it gives an opportunity for the developers to improvise on their code. Okay, so team, I think that's the content which I wanted to share as part of this video. Anyway, this is a part 2 video, and if at all you have not watched my part 1 video, I will put that link for that video in my description of my channel. So you can please refer to the part 1 video as well. So I hope this content was helpful. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, team, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. And I have also training courses on AWS and DevOps. So if at all anyone would be interested, you can send an email to this particular email ID, awsdevops1919@gmail.com. So I'll be sharing you details about the course, what modules I'm covering, the course duration, and also the course fees. So if anyone wants to take up this trainings from me, you can feel free to send an email to the mentioned email ID. Also, with respect to the training mode, it will be a training via the Zoom. And once the training is done, the class recordings will be uploaded onto your Google Drive share, and you will be provided access to that drive. And basically, whether it is AWS or DevOps, it is going to be a 5 to 6 weeks of interactive course and completely focused on the hands-on lab exercise. Right? So I'm going to be covering some theory aspects for each of the services. But again, the main objective is to make you very comfortable with respect to the hands-on lab exercises. So yeah, that's all I had as part of this video. So if anyone is interested, please send an email to my email ID and I can provide you the details about the courses. Thank you all so much, and I will catch you all in my next video.